What is abundance? What is abundance? What is manifestation? How can we attract and welcome blessings in our life? Is manifestation even real? Is that even a thing? And this is the reading that I wanted to do today to share with you all because I find this topic so fascinating. Everybody wants abundance, everyone wants blessings in their life, but yet some of us find it easier to attract than others. And how come there are some people, everything they touch turns to gold? Everything that they experience is so wonderful and magical. And yet, other people, it's very difficult. Now, I actually think this is quite a nuanced topic, and I have a lot to say about this. But today, I just want to talk about one aspect, one element of abundance and manifestation. And I feel like the term manifestation has been thrown a lot lately, especially in the spiritual communities. And maybe some people might be confused about what that is or how to achieve it. So, in today's reading, I wanted to get more information on abundance, and I'm using the Nereid Oracle, and I thought I would share it with you. So, the first question is, how can I best attract blessings and abundance in my life today? And the cards that I got were Grace and Transcendence. Absolutely beautiful cards. And these two cards very much align with my own personal experience of manifestation, which I'll share with you. So, grace, what does grace mean? Grace is about that moment when you step out into the world and you look up at the sky and you see the wonder and the awe and the beauty of the Milky Way. You see the stars, the infinite universe that expands beyond you, and you sit there with awe and wonder. Grace is about the appreciation of beauty. I'm not talking about cosmetic beauty or superficial beauty. I'm talking about beauty with a capital B. I'm talking about beauty of the world, beauty of existence, beauty of life, beauty of being. It's that wonder and awe of existence itself. And it's an inward beauty. It's a cultivation internally, right? And it's also an expression and a connection externally. Beauty and awe is the byproduct of abundance. And you don't need anybody's permission. You don't need a thing or something in your bank account or an object or an acquisition to experience beauty. Beauty with a capital B. It is that grace. It is that groundedness in existence that reminds you that you're part of something so much bigger than yourself. It's that founding of the beauty and the miracle of the world that you exist in right now. If you want to experience abundance and blessings, just go outside and look at the sky. Look at beauty. Look at the beauty around you. Look at the miracle of existence around you. What is so beautiful about right here, right now? I think that's the first step in attracting abundance and beauty and blessings is to be able to recognize beauty and abundance and blessings that you have right now. And I'm not talking just about a gratitude journal, but I'm talking about really steeping your consciousness in the essence of gratitude. Like it's one thing to say, oh yeah, I'm grateful for the stars in the sky. Yep, they're really cool. Super grateful. Help us navigate, they look pretty. I love taking pictures of the stars because, they're pretty. I'm not talking about that gratitude. I'm talking about stepping into the existence of transcendental beauty and awe and wonder, where you look up at the stars and you really marvel at the wonder and the beauty of that experience. Because that is essentially what we want to experience when we say abundance, right? What is that abundance? And sometimes we get so narrow minded, we get so fixated on, well, abundance only equals this, or abundance only equals money, or only equals that next promotion, or Once I get this diamond ring, then I'll be abundant, then I'll be wealthy. And people confuse that with jealousy and envy, and they completely blind themselves to abundance of expression, abundance of existence, abundance of consciousness. You know, writing in a gratitude journal can be so helpful, but if you're not experiencing the gratitude of what you're grateful for and you're just filling up lists of things that you're like, well, I'm better than that guy down the street who had his house burned down. I'm grateful that's not me. That's not really experiencing grace and abundance and beauty. So I think going back to the foundation of how we even experience what's our relationship with abundance needs to be reevaluated. And the easiest way to start right now is just to walk outside and look at the sky and ask yourself, what is it that I feel? Am I connected with grace? Am I connected with awe and wonder and beauty? Or am I disconnected here? Now, the next card is transcendence. And I think this is perfect because it's solidifying the celestial, the spiritual quality of grace. In the guidebook, they talk about how transcendence is essentially connecting that deep ocean water underneath us and rising from the depths of the ocean above the waves to marvel at heaven, right? Transcendence is a journey. It's a journey, right? And what propels your consciousness to go from the deep, deep ocean to rise above the waves to see the magnificence of the sky? What drives you is a want, it's a desire, it's a sublime idea of desire. And I think this comes back to, why does consciousness exist in the first place? Why are you even here on planet Earth? Why are you experiencing life? Why would consciousness even come into being if not for want? For want of beauty with a capital B, for want of love, for want of existence, for want of life. Why would we ever get transformed from an inanimate rock to a living, breathing, feeling consciousness, if not for our spiritual consciousness to want to experience the beauty and the awe and the wonder and the abundance of life? That we're not humans having a spiritual experience, but we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And when we see the world from that point of view, then abundance and blessings and opportunities take on a whole different context, right? I started to think about the times in my life where I felt truly wealthy, truly deeply wealthy, where no amount of money could ever come close to that sublime experience. And I actually have many, many to choose from. Um, but, just a couple I'll share with you. One is I'm sitting by a bonfire with my cousins and some really good friends, and someone's playing the guitar and singing, and we're all just sitting around the bonfire in blissful silence, enjoying each other's company. And it's a gorgeous night by the river, and the moon is out. And I remember just sitting there, looking at the fire, drinking a cold beer, listening to the music, and just feeling the love and connection around me. Just abiding in just the ultimate feeling of connectedness and acceptance, and that the people that I was with at this bonfire loved me wholly and I loved them wholly. And just how wonderful that feeling felt, and how grateful and blessed I was to have people in my life that would accept me and love me and give me such a feeling of groundedness and connection. Another memory I have is I'm in the car with my brothers, and we've got the windows down and we've got the music playing and we're singing together. And it's just this moment where we're all in harmony, singing, driving through the forest on our way to go fishing together. And it's the feeling of excitement and fun. And yes, I can't wait to share the day with people I love, doing something that I enjoy. And it was this excitement and belonging and freedom that came from that moment. And I remember putting my hand at the window to feel the wind flow between my fingers as I sang Bye Bye Miss American Pie with my brothers, and just feeling love. And there are some of those moments where you just feel love and abundance in a way that is greater than any dollar amount could ever even come close. Now, I've had a lot of experiences in my life and with money, different financial statuses of money. And one polar opposite experience was I was going on a family vacation with a family who was incredibly privileged. I mean, they had enough money where financially they never had to want for anything, financially speaking. And I was invited as a guest to go on this family vacation with them because I was friends with their daughter. And I was just a teenager at this time. And so we go on this incredible vacation to this most gorgeous place on the planet. And of course, everything is taken care of. I mean, we're staying in the nicest place. We have room service. We go on these extravagant excursions and activities. I mean, nothing. You could not want for anything on this vacation. Um, the weather was perfect. I mean, everything was bland. Everything was absolutely meticulous. And yet it was one of the most miserable vacations I've ever been on in my life because the people, specifically the husband and the wife, were so miserable. Nothing was good enough, right? Oh, the coffee is not hot enough today. They would bicker. The husband, he loved to go fishing, and he spent a lot of money to go fishing at this very exclusive, hard to get to locations. And instead of the wife just being happy that her husband gets to do something incredible, she just complained and was like, "Ugh, we went fishing here last year, and you just take so much time to go fishing, and I want to do something else." And then she was always bickering. She was definitely a miserable woman to be with. She bullied her daughter. She bullied me. She was just a miserable person to be around, and everybody was miserable. And kind of reminds me of the show White Lotus, right? We're here, everyone is at this exclusive resort, 5-star everything, incredibly financially privileged people of the world, and yet their lives are miserable and hollow and empty and full of suffering. And I've seen that. I've experienced that. And so I think it's really important when we try to manifest abundance in our life and we try to invite and attract abundance and blessings into our life that we're very clear about what that means. Because abundance and blessings is the experience that I was talking about earlier of when you step out and you look at the stars of the sky and you feel embodied in your consciousness and your soul with awe and wonder and gratitude and beauty, that beauty of being with a capital B. That is what wonder and manifestation is all about. It's not about acquiring more things to fill your insecurity or your envy or your jealousy or your need for control. It's about being in tune, being in alignment with that desire, that transcendence desire of consciousness to exist and explore that want of beauty, that want of love, that want of life, to go from that deep depths of the ocean to rise above the waves to enjoy the heaven. Now, money can be a conduit for that, right? Money can be a conduit for experiencing joy and beauty, but it is not the thing that gives you joy and beauty. So, for example, when I was young, I really wanted to go to Thailand. I really wanted to have a vacation in Thailand. I wanted to experience the culture, the food. I wanted to swim in a different ocean. And I didn't have the money to do so. So I started a manifestation process where I would focus and dream and pray about that experience, that want of being in Thailand. I didn't think about, oh, well, I need X amount of money to get here. Instead, I just trusted that the money would come through my choices and my actions. But instead, I focused on my soul experience. I was experiencing the beauty and the wonder of Thailand before I even went there. And that experience of abundance just multiplied and grew. And then I was saving money to pay for my trip, but then the universe actually gave me blessings to exceed financially so that I could go on that trip in a much shorter way. I ended up getting into a car accident, which is kind of funny, but I got into a car accident, and the insurance company not only paid me top dollar for my car, but I ended up getting a replacement car for much cheaper. And I had these excess funds that I said, great, now I have enough money to go to Thailand. And then when I finally went to Thailand, instead of purchasing, like booking my hotels, pre in advance, I would just show up and walk around and talk to people. And I got the best deals on like hotels and bungalows and hostels. And I was able to have my money go a lot farther and do a lot farther things because I was approaching it from the essence of abundance, the essence of grace, this transcendent feeling of experience. And part of that is that connection to spirit. Again, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. And so when we talk about how can I best attract blessings and abundance in my life, first and foremost, I ask you, what is blessings and abundance to you? What does that even mean to you? Because if it means fulfilling your ego and your jealousy and your envy, why would you want more of that? Why would you want more of that? If it means, well, I want to be rich so that I can feel better than my friends. Well, I want to be rich so that I can have prestige and nourish my ego and drive up in a fancy car and get attention from other people. Why would you want that? Why would you want to feel so weak and so beholden to something that makes you feel incomplete? When really you could just step outside and look at the stars above your head and feel the awe and the wonder and the beauty and the love of the universe. Or sit around a bonfire with people who genuinely love and accept you and sing together. Or go and on this incredible, fishing trip with those that you love. That is real abundance. And in my Thailand example, my trip to Thailand that I manifested, it wasn't about getting the best pictures for Instagram so I could brag about how privileged I was to travel. But it was about, oh, I really want to experience the awe and the wonder of this culture and the food and the beach. And I want to, really envelop myself in the beauty of the experience. And that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly how it came into being. So when we really transition our mind and our spirit and we get attuned to blessings and abundance, then we get to experience it. And so before we even go down the path of manifestation, I want to ask you very honestly, what is blessings and abundance to you? And do you even have the capacity to experience it? Because like my example of the family that I went on, my White Lotus family, the family that went on this very financially privileged vacation and yet everybody was miserable, giving them more money would not have made the vacation any better. The vacation was already perfect. The weather was perfect. We went on perfect activities. We had 5-star everything. Everything was already luxurious and incredible. And it was a vacation that many families only dream of going on once in a lifetime. They went on this vacation every year, and yet they were miserable. They didn't appreciate it. They didn't consciously connect with the beauty and the abundance around them. And so money didn't matter. It didn't matter. Now, granted, money does provide opportunities. But if the opportunities that money provides, you're not even able to connect with abundance, then what's the value? Why would you even want that? So that would be my question to you, is to really think about what it is that abundance means to you and what is the ultimate blessing that you would want in your life. I have ultimate blessings that I want in my life, that if those blessings could be fulfilled, then I would just be happy beyond measure. And it has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with money, but money is a tool. You know what else is a tool? Is your physical health, right? The resources you have, the time you have. Sometimes people get so fixated on dollar, but they don't realize that your body is also priceless. Having your body in a physical condition, being able to go for a run, being able to walk, being able to sing, dance, our health is also a conduit for abundance. And that we also must be grateful for as well. So, the other question that I had that I'll share with you guys is, what can I do to bring in more material abundance and financial security? Now, this is a little bit more specific when we're talking about material abundance and financial security, which is a little bit different than just abundance and beauty with a capital B and being and all the things that I just talked about, right? When we get in, okay, I want to experience those things, but I see money as a tool, or I see health as a tool, as a conduit to get there. How can I expand that conduit, that pathway towards ultimate beauty and abundance, towards the manifestation of conscious being, where we go from the depths of the ocean over the waves to admire the heavens and the sky, right? Now, the two cards that I pulled for that was, first one is reverse volatility, and the second one is strength. And I think the messages here are so profound and beautiful. Reverse volatility, I interpret that as stability and consistency. It's the opposite of volatility. It's the opposite of constant change. If you really want to focus on material abundance and financially security, you have to be stable and consistent. And emotionally stable, spiritually stable, and consistent. Anything that you have a goal requires consistency to get to that goal, right? If you, let's say in my example, wanting to experience a vacation to Thailand, yes, the universe gifted me financial abundance from this car accident that I was in, but I also had been saving money before then, and that required diligence and consistency. I didn't just wake up one morning and say, I want a vacation to Thailand. I dreamt it. I put it into action. I put it into plan. And then I showed up and I consistently executed that plan. I consistently showed up. And that's with any dream that you want to have. You know, let's say you dream of getting a college education. You don't just walk into the college and say, give me my degree. You have to show up to class every day. You have to do in the work. Let's say your dream is to run a marathon and you want to experience the joy and the exhilarating abundance of accomplishment, right? Well, you still have to practice. You still have to put in the hours of training. So the first thing when we're talking about maybe material abundance or financial security is to understand that there is a sense of consistency that you must be able to bring, consistency in yourself, emotionally, spiritually, and behaviorally. If you want to grow a garden, you need to water it every day, right? It needs sunlight every day. There's a consistency here. And then the next card I got is strength. And this is about calming the waves, stilling the gales, the power of maternity, motherhood, femininity, tapping into your power of nurture, power of strength. Now, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine qualities, and internally, we all have the ability to nurture and connect. Now, when I look at these two cards here, I see multiple layers of wisdom. The first one being, of course, consistency and physical strength, right? So there is a value in your physical health, a value in your physical strength of being that money can't even compare to. There's a saying that young people, the young have health, but they want money, and the old people have money, but they want health. And I think a lot of us forget that what's more important than your material abundance or your financial security is your physical health, your mental health, your mental well-being. Are you emotionally stable? Are you spiritually stable and consistent? And do you have the physical strength to do so? Like in my example of wanting to manifest a trip to Thailand, if I am addicted and strung out, or if I'm sick, or if I harm my body, my experience in Thailand is not going to be full of beauty and wonder and abundance. If I have mistreated my body and I don't have the strength to go do that dream experience, that beauty with a capital B, then I'm going to be blocked. And there's so much in life that we have control over, so much that we don't, but the things that we do really are our body and our spirit and our mind. We have a lot more influence over those things than we realize. And if you want to attract financial security, you want to attract material abundance, first you must be abundant and secure in the most valuable thing you own, which is your body. Your body. So many people out here wanting Ferraris, right? But they can't even take care of their body. And how are your priorities so messed up if you crave material goods, but you can't even value your spiritual ones, right? So that's the first thing is your strength and the ability to calm the waves, still the wind, that groundedness. That groundedness daily practice in which you attune to abundance and beauty, the grace and the transcendence of existence. It is a cycle. It is a circle. And at the end of the day, material or financial abundance manifestation or spiritual and emotional abundance and manifestation, your spirit doesn't tell the difference. It's all experience. And you are the conduit in which you receive your experience. And so if you want to be in attunement with abundance and blessings, you have to align your experience with that. So that's today's reading. I have much, much more to share about this topic, but I hope that it inspired you. And I wish you all a beautiful day of abundance and blessings. Take care.